What is going on, you guys? It's your girl Diana, back at you with another YouTube video. After the latest update to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet went live, people started to do some digging in the game, and they were able to find some very interesting information about the possibility of us getting some legendary raids in the near future. So let's go ahead and hop into the details. So yesterday on July 4th, this user here tweeted out some interesting information that they found out after modding a Chestnut raid to be a 7-star Mewtwo raid. They wanted to see what effect this would have on the game and what effect this had when bringing a Mew into a Mewtwo raid, which we all know obviously they are literal rivals. Nice little throwback to Pokemon the first movie. And of course Mewtwo is literally a Mew clone. But anyway, I'm sure everybody knows the lore behind those two. But this user tweeted out yesterday saying Scarlet and Violet version 1.3.2, which is the latest version of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, added a new interesting message. Mew is going to go all out against this formidable opponent. This is used when Mew enters a 7-star Mewtwo raid. Mew gets a 50% HP boost and a 20% stat boost to all 5 other stats, which that's kind of insane. And they do have this video here of them actually bringing Mew into this Mewtwo raid that they obviously had to mod. This is not in the game. There is no Mewtwo raids in the game currently. In case anybody is confused, this is a modded Chestnut raid, which is why it literally has the Chestnut Terra type, which the little clip here just ends off with them showing off Mew's stats upon entering the raid, which they then go on to clarify through screenshots that these stats are actually different than what their Mew stats originally were before entering the actual raid battle. So according to the user, it says my Mew's original stats were 404 HP, 112 attack, 123 defense, 328 special attack, 236 special defense, and 236 speed. And in the battle, it had the following stats: 606 HP, 254 attack, 284 defense, 393 special attack, 283 special defense, and 283 speed. So clearly everything just kind of got a boost. And they then go on to say that this stat boost is not cleared by the boss's ability / stat reset. So here are the screenshots here. This is what their Mew looked like before actually going into the raid. And you can see all of the stats as is. And then in the raid, you can see that their HP goes all the way up to 606, and there is no ability active. And of course, they themselves have not done anything to actually raise Mew's stats, like using a setup move. As you can see, there's no little arrows indicating that that has been done. They then go on to say that they tried modding Wild Mewtwo and lower tier Terra raids, but this effect didn't occur. So they think that this stat boost that Mew gets is specific to 7-star Mewtwo raids, which if that's true, that's actually really cool and kind of like a nice little nod to their actual like rivalry, especially considering the fact that it literally says like Mew's going all out to face off against this formidable foe, because like I mentioned, they are obviously like natural rivals because they're literally like the same thing, just different font. And once again, it's a nice little throwback to when they fought in the first movie. But because of all this information showing that Mew gets this special stat boost and that the game is actually capable of hosting these Mewtwo raids, obviously it's a modded raid at the moment, but the game still has the capability of hosting these specific raids. He goes on to speculate that with Mewtwo events coming soon to Pokemon Unite and Mew coming to Pokemon Go, which is something that I also covered, so the fact that there is Mew and Mewtwo events coming to 2 separate games, it definitely seems like a possibility that we might be getting a 7-star Mewtwo raid soon in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, since it would make sense with the timing of all of the other games and of course with the fact that they gave Mew this special stat boost and that little message update. But in addition to all of the initial information that this user found out, it looks like there's also a follow-up where he says that Mew actually gets the Mightiest mark after fighting 7-star Mewtwo, which of course usually the Pokemon that get the Mightiest mark are the actual Pokemon that are featured in the 7-star raid. But according to the user, it says it looks to be Mew specific and other Pokemon do not earn the ribbon. So it doesn't seem like something that was maybe glitched, since this was only happening to Mew, not any of the other Pokemon that were able to join the raid, which he does follow up with this clip that he actually took in game after he defeated the Mewtwo raid, which of course, according to the rewards, you can see was a Chestnut raid originally. But after completing the raid, he then goes into his boxes to check his Mew, and as you can see, his Mew now has the Mightiest mark. So definitely some interesting information to look into. Of course, the user does go on to clarify by saying this is obviously still a simulation and there are no Mewtwo raids going on right now, but the game simply has the ability to handle a Mighty Mewtwo raid as of version 1.3.2. But you can see that the game thinks that I beat a Chestnut, as we saw when we looked at the rewards page. But he finally ends off the thread by saying, my guess is that when they release these raids, Mewtwo will be uncatchable and that the reward is the mightiest mark for your own Mew instead. He also said that he tried with Espathra and it didn't get the mightiest mark, so we will see how they set up these raids when they are released. Of course, that is if they do actually get released, since once again, this is all kind of speculation and done through data modding and all of that, but we now know that the game does have the capability for raids like this. With some people pointing out that this is definitely a possibility that it will be uncatchable, since there was already a Mewtwo raid in Sword and Shield where it was not catchable. So maybe the mark on Mew is a nice little reward for those that did transfer Mew into the game via Pokemon Home. But of course, like the user states, and like I already stated as well, this isn't an actual thing that's happening currently in the game, so it's all kind of just speculation since it was done through data mining and of course modding a game. But I do find it interesting that the game does have the capability to host these 7-star Mewtwo raids, and that instead of Mewtwo getting the mightiest mark, your Mew gets the mightiest mark. But of course, I would love to hear what you guys think. Do you think that this is kind of pointing towards the fact that we are going to be getting some kind of Mewtwo raid in the near future in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, since the game does now have the capability of hosting them as of the latest update, or do we think that this is just some modded game? Feel free to leave your thoughts down below in the comments. But that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you did, I kindly suggest that you consider subscribing so that I can continue to make content for you guys. And if you are already subscribed and you would like another way to support the channel, feel free to check out the merch store. There is a link down below in the description that takes you to not only my merch store, but also all of my other socials so you can keep up with what I'm doing on a daily basis. But thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you to those of you who have joined the channel as members. I appreciate you all so much. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.